Hello, everyone, and welcome to Your Cup of Joy. I'm your host, Ariana Joy Christie, and I am so glad that you are here. This is a space to inspire, to learn, to grow, and to challenge. Get ready to fill your cup and spread a little joy along the way. Okay, Alex Cunningham, also known as This Family Tree. Welcome to Your Cup of Joy.
Ariana, thank you so much. I am so excited. We were just saying it's been a while since I podcasted and it feels so good. Like I'm sitting with a buddy. We're going to chat about stuff. And no, this feels great.
The best. I'm so happy that you're here. And it's after we've been able to hang out and have a weekend together. So it's just like so nice to be able to chat real things, real life things. And I feel like you have been talking online about some topics that I'm like, oh my gosh, that just like hits home so hard for me. So I'm really excited, actually, selfishly.
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. I'm excited to get into it. And yeah, it's a nice little balance because we got to go out and actually like party together last weekend, which
so fun.
It was so fun. And I think that was one of the first times that we were both able to actually let loose. It wasn't a work thing. Neither one of us were driving that night. So we were able to let loose and actually party. And that felt amazing. And now I love kind of the balance and like coming here today and talking about family stuff.
Yes. Yeah. It was so fun. And you're right. It's nice to let loose and not have it be a work thing. Because in our industry, there's lots of social things that look like they're like a hangout time, but there's so many, like you're filming, you're making sure you talk to certain people. It's work. So to have 100%. Something that wasn't work was so nice.
It was amazing. It was so amazing. I'm glad you had a good time.
Yes, thank you. And you hosted us. So thank you for having us over at your house.
Any freaking time. We got to get Renee down for the next one.
Yes, we will have to do that. Okay. So I'm really excited because I think you do such a good job of speaking like so authentically about topics that sometimes are like taboo, or maybe people feel like they're off, like not allowed to be talked about, like off the table, but so many people resonate with them. And I don't know why these topics are so like, oh no, don't talk about it. But then when you do, like someone like me feels seen immediately. So I just love that you make those topics like accessible to people.
Thank you so much. And I'm pretty sure I know which one in particular you're talking about. And that is the decision whether or not to have more kids.
Yes.
Yeah. And honestly, it's hard because, you know, you'll say something sometimes. And I was kind of nervous about talking about that. I had a very easy time getting pregnant despite having lupus. Like my pregnancies were awful. And after I got pregnant, we weren't sure if I was going to be able to go full term with the kids. So that was very difficult. But the getting pregnant part was very, very easy. And I was very lucky because a lot of lupus patients do have a difficult time. So I totally recognize that. But I was a little bit nervous to talk about it. I've experienced pregnancy loss. I've had friends experiencing still pregnancy loss and just the inability to get pregnant. So talking about whether or not to have a third kid, I was like, does this feel gluttonous? Like, do I sound, you know what I mean?
Totally.
But ultimately, I mean, it was like the main conversation that Shane and I have been having for the last 3-4 months. And we've been talking about it every single day. We've got notes in our phones, writing down the pros and cons every single day, talking to the freaking kids about it. Like they were fully in the conversations. So I was like, it feels weird to be going through this and have it be such a big part of our life and not share it. Because I think selfishly, I wanted to hear if other people are going through the same thing and how they deal with it, how they came to the decision that they came to. Because ultimately I don't think I'm going to be 100% happy with either decision.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's tough.
Totally. And family planning is this like weird thing, like the decision to have kids at all or not is
big time
a difficult decision and like part of a relationship. We were just talking to friends last night at dinner about that. Like it's so difficult to first of all, know what you want. Second of all, like align with your partner on what you want. And that it's a big huge life decision. And I think it's really good that you are acknowledging that, like, some people have a very difficult time getting pregnant. Like, I'm so sorry that you experienced loss. And it's so terrible that that is so prevalent for so many people. And so I think because it's this thing that we don't talk about, then it's hard when we're like, wait, I'm feeling all of these feelings. I'm having these conversations every day. And I don't know if other people feel like this too. And sometimes talking through it helps you make a decision. Like, sometimes you need to hear other people's advice or experiences or understand kind of how that goes. And I also really appreciate you saying that you're not going to be 100% happy on either side, like either decision, which is so valid and so true. Because even so, I feel like I always wanted so many kids. I told Mike on our first date, like, I want to
how
have
many? What's so many? What is so
5.
many? Frig, Ariana.
That's
You
what I
still want
wanted. No, I don't think. But this is the weird part, is that so I so badly was like 5 kids for sure. Said it on my first date with him. I was like, if you don't want kids, like, then we're not meant to be together, because that's how many I want.
Smart thing to say on first date. Honestly, it is.
It should be an opening question. Like, do you want kids or not? 100%. Like, what do you envision your life to be? Because that's like, so many people don't talk about it. And then they're so deep in a relationship. And then they're like, holy smokes, we do not want the same thing.
If you are dating to marry, then I do think you need to be a little bit businesslike about it.
Yes.
And have fun, but also just like knock off the questions. And you can do that in a funny way. Just be like, all right, 3 questions, blam, blam, blam.
Exactly.
And then if you're not going to work, then just go and have a nice time and have a good night, however that looks, you know, just knowing it's not going to go anywhere serious with that person.
Yeah. Knowing that it doesn't, like, that's not the person I'm going to marry then. And that's fine.
Yeah.
So I always said that I wanted lots of kids. And then we had twins off, like, right off the bat, which was wild. And then we had another. And then Mike was like, this is all that I want. Like, he always wanted to have like 1, maybe 2 kids. So I felt like, okay, that's a compromise. Like, 3 is a lot. You're right. And so I started to tell myself that this is what I wanted. Like, oh, I only want 3 kids. Like, you're almost convincing yourself of a decision.
100%.
Because then he had a vasectomy. And so I was like, okay, I know this is our last baby with Callie. I need to just tell myself that it's okay. And I'll learn to believe that, like, I only want to have 3 kids. And there are so many pros to that. Like, I can travel with the 3 of them. Like, we can go and meet Mike places, and that's manageable. Like, there are so many reasons why I'm happy with 3. But then I'm like, did I put the idea of more kids out of my head because that's what Mike wanted, or do I want more?
It's honestly, it is so hard. And it's like, you know, when you're obviously in a partnership with somebody, you're both taking care of the kids, you're both responsible for them financially, everything. So it's like both people need to have input in that. But I am curious, just like for my own curiosity. So you wanted all these kids, you wanted 5 kids, Mike wanted 1 kid. You come from a 3-child family, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what about him?
He's 2, 1 of 2.
2. Okay, what do you think drove you to 5? Like, I know you had, and you can cut this if you haven't spoken about it on the podcast, but like, I know you had a really Christian upbringing and schooling. Do you think that had anything to do with your desire to have like a really big family?
For sure. Especially because, so I went to a Christian school where like everybody's related. They all had so many cousins, and it was like so fun for people to have cousins, because we'd go camping, we'd go on trips together. Like, even just lunch after church on Sunday was so much more fun. When I got invited to one of the big family's house for lunch, I was like so excited. And so I was like, I want that. Like, that's so cool. And I didn't have cousins close in age to me. So I just was like, oh, like that's what I want. That's so fun. That's so cool. And so I was always also drawn to kids. Like, I loved to babysit. I nannied as a job. Like, I just had that maternal instinct. I'm the oldest. Maybe that's part of it too, of my siblings.
Sure, I think.
So I think maybe I like saw that from the outside and was like, oh, I love that.
Totally. You know, we both come from, Shane and I come from families of 2 siblings. So for me, I was always like, I used to think I didn't want kids. Like, I knew in my heart of hearts I did, but then everybody I dated, I'm like, ooh, I can't see myself having kids with them. So it was kind of hard. But then I met Shane, and very quickly I was like, oh, yes, I see a different future for myself with this guy. It's kind of perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And we both naturally gravitated towards two. And then I've been joking ever since I had Betty, which is 5 years ago now, that if anybody ever sees me with a third baby, it was an accident, because I definitely don't want a third. But then it was like I turned 36 this year, and immediately my brain went to, holy shit, maybe we should have another baby, because I'm finally in a place where, I don't know, I'm getting more sleep. I feel like we have both feet on the ground again after going through the baby phase, the toddler phase. And I'm like, I think we can handle a little more chaos
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
But then, of course, it's like, but am I thinking this only because this is the last time I'll kind of let myself consider it? And, we love our kids so much, and it's hard not to look at them and think, oh my God, we need to make another one of you guys ASAP because you're amazing, whatever. So
Yeah.
that's the thing. And it's like, if we had another kid, or if I do accidentally get pregnant somehow, then it's going to be great
Of
and
course.
we're going to love it. But I think for all the reasons that I was thinking that we were maybe ready to have another kid is why I'm happy to not have another kid, because our feet are on the ground. There's a little bit less chaos. We get to do everything as a family. Like when we go grocery shopping, the whole family is going grocery shopping.
So
If
nice.
Shane needs to buy a new pair of jeans, we're all going, sitting in the change room and telling him
Aw.
if he looks good or not. Like things like that. And if we had a third, especially going through the baby phase again, I think that for the way that Shane and I like to live, and we're a little bit maybe unhealthily codependent, but that's fine.
I
That's
love
how
it.
we prefer
Yeah.
to be. But for living that way, I think we'd have to like tag team more if we had a third.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, we both function not as well when we have to do that.
Yeah.
So
And I think knowing that is helpful in your decision making, like actually visualizing what will life be with another.
yes.
Because it's easy to romanticize it, but it's different when you're really thinking like logistically, how is this going to happen?
100%. And like
Yeah.
Ariana, my pelvic floor is still not freaking healed from my other two. So it's like, is it
Literally.
smart body wise and lupus wise? Because again, like
Yeah.
I'm feeling like I'm getting on top of my autoimmune disease. Should I be going through this again and putting my body through the hell of emotions and breastfeeding and carrying a kid? Because like I
Totally.
have pelvic organ prolapse. I've gone through every treatment. I've done years and years of physiotherapy, and I still can't, like, I might need surgery. You know what I
That's
mean?
wild.
So
Yeah.
I just think that for health reasons, it's not smart for me to
Yeah.
have another baby.
Yeah.
As cute as I think they'd be. And knowing my luck, I'd probably have like freaking twins or something. Or you know
Hey,
what I
it
mean?
happens.
I know. Exactly.
You never know.
Do you have twins in the family?
So we learned later that like Mike's grandma was a twin or something.
Oh.
My uncle has twins, but we just like never thought about it. Like it just was like
Yeah.
so wild. So wild. Do you feel like external pressures like around growing your family? Do you ever have like
I feel external pressures not to have another kid.
do you?
Yes, the grandparents are so involved. Like Shane's stepmother and his dad live in Oakville. And she comes and when my kids were in daycare part-time, she would come in for the 2 days a week that they were not in daycare, and she'd watch them so that I could work.
Aw.
And during COVID, she'd live at our house for 2 weeks at a time. And it was really wonderful. She's very involved. And then my parents live 2 blocks away. And I mean, like, they are pretty much available whenever, like, if I'm not making it back from work on time, pick them up from school, they're there. If Shane and I want to go, and this is another huge factor that kind of helped us decide that we want to stick with two, but we like to get away for little one-nighter trips here and there. And
Yeah.
God, without it, it's like our marriage suffers, we suffer. So in order to keep that on the upswing and like happy and us functioning well together, we like to go out and like remind each other why we're doing this and just take a night off for both of us, because
Yeah.
it's a lot. Like, like kids, work, everything, running a house, everything is so much,
Mhm.
and you can burn out so freaking fast.
So fast.
So the fact that we only have two, the grandparents like that because it's manageable.
Yeah.
And like we're planning a 10th anniversary next year. So we're going to try to get away for, I don't know how long they're going to let us go for, 7 to 10 days. I don't know. I don't know.
Gosh.
I don't know. We're going to see, but we're going to go to Europe. Still
Sick.
working on planning. But yeah, the grandparents don't want a third one in there, especially an infant.
Yes. It makes it
So I get
harder
that.
for sure. Like even when we have babysitters for our kids, especially when they were young,
Oh, yes.
if it was like to do bedtime, I often would have 2 people because I was
Yes.
like, it's too much for one person. Even myself, I found it very hard to put all 3 to bed when they were all so dependent. So then to have another baby, you're right. Like accessing childcare becomes more difficult. Financially, it becomes more of a burden.
Oh, the
There are so many
finances
things to consider. Yeah.
are just insane. And like, not even the finances now. And, you know, this morning I was sending money to different camps I'm putting my kids in this summer. And 2 kids. And like, I mean, it's so much money. It's so much money.
Much money.
It's so hard. And I'm like, okay, a third is going to be tough. We work our asses off as it is.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we can't work harder than we already are.
Yeah.
And then I was like, and I mean, the money we're paying now is small potatoes compared to when they get to high school and want like real clothes that aren't from Joe Fresh and Walmart. And then, you know, paying for tuition for schools and things like that. Because I want to help them out at least to some degree. So all of that stuff gives me, it gives me a little bit of a headache. But
it's wild and it adds up so fast. Like we're sending just the twins to like an outdoor camp this summer, and they were like, "Oh, have water shoes," and I was like, buying water shoes. It was like $100. Yeah, everything $100 because it's too big. Like you need all the things times 2 or 3.
I bought water shoes yesterday. Mountain Warehouse. Do you know this store?
Yeah.
Okay, Mountain Warehouse. The one in Hamilton, at least, maybe all over, is having a sale. The whole store is 50% off. Then there's added discounts. So I ended up getting water shoes for each kid, metal camping cups, hats, and shorts, $13.
Pardon?
Yeah.
Amazon actually screwed me over. That's amazing.
Go to Mountain Warehouse, and they're British. They're UK owned, so like not American or anything.
I'm going.
It was insane. I was laughing at the checkout, like thinking I should go and buy way more stuff. It was amazing. Yes.
Wow. Well, I will be checking that out. Not a sponsored ad. If you could go back and give yourself one piece of advice before having kids, what would it be?
Oh, okay. To be honest, Ariana, I was nervous because it's been a long time since I've been on any podcast. Like we stopped ours before Christmas, and I was like, how am I going to think on the fly?
You're doing great. You're natural. This is a hard question.
No, it is. But there's a few things. Honestly, the first one, but it has nothing to do with when the kids are out. It's just the first thing that's coming to my brain. Yeah, is perennial massage. Massage your perineum.
Really?
Right? Because I didn't with Lucy, and guys, and this is part of the pelvic floor issues, like everything, muscle, skin, gone. Like just tore, 3rd or 4th degree tear.
Oh my gosh.
Terrible. They had to give me an episiotomy, which was like full. And then I have never healed properly from that. So I massaged the scarred perineum. You're getting way too much info. No. I was massaging my scarred perineum when I had Betty, and then I didn't tear or anything. Like it was fine. Didn't need an episiotomy. But that is number one.
I was talking about this last night to a friend because we were talking about birth, and I did the same thing. I had an episiotomy with my first birth, and my second birth, I did perineal massage for months. Yes. And my baby was 11 pounds, and I birthed her at home.
Holy moly.
And I did not tear.
That's amazing.
So I'm telling you, it works.
100%. Not enough people did. I didn't know about it at the time. Mm-hmm. I only found out after because I'm like researching, like, how do I not tear my perineum? The gooch. Nobody wants a gooch tear.
Nobody.
But I think once you have kids, I think that it's important to know that there is no one right answer. Like, especially when you get on social media, you see online, you see all these different quote unquote quote experts. Some of them are experts. Some of them are not. And they're just honestly selling things.
Yeah.
But there's not one thing that's going to work for every kid, whether it has to do with eating, breastfeeding, sleeping at night. And there is no point stressing yourself out and losing sleep, because there's already so much to stress out about when you're a new parent. And I think that when we see, oh my God, my kid should be sleeping this many hours, or they should be having this much from the breast, and they should be eating these things by now. And it can add so much unnecessary and unwarranted pressure on
Totally.
parents and make us feel like we're failing and not doing a good job. And like, I mean, if you're looking things up and reflecting on what you've done that day and trying to be better, I can tell you, you're a great parent if
Yeah.
you're doing all those things. And I just think that there's a lot of, well, this is the only thing that you can do. This is the right way.
Yeah.
And I took a lot of that to heart during when Lucy was a baby. And thankfully was able to let all of that shit go with my second. Did you find that you like succumbed to, hearing, oh, you need to do this. If you do this, it's wrong kind of stuff?
Oh, with the twins, I was like so anxious. I wanted to do everything
Yeah.
perfectly. I saw all the like toy rotations and like reading books to them when they're like 2 weeks old, all like everything. And I was constantly comparing. And then with Callie, it was like survival. Like, oh, she ate something off the floor. It's totally fine.
Yeah. And honestly, I think it made me a better parent. Not worrying about that
Yes.
stuff made me a way better parent. And
Way
then probably
better.
led to a happier just environment around.
Yeah, because don't sweat the small stuff. Like they also need to learn through doing things too. Like we can't, there's something to be said about like trying to protect them all the time and being this like helicopter parent that doesn't actually serve our kids properly.
Totally.
Because how do you become resilient if you never have to?
100%. And I think there's so much to be said, especially as like my kids are getting older and everything like that, like letting them do more outside, like not being so quick to be like, oh, be careful over there and things like that. Just, if they fall and scrape their knee, my immediate reaction is to be like, oh, you poor thing, and like run over for a hug. But I'm trying to catch myself and take a step back and be like, okay, let's see if they cry and call over for me, or if they're bleeding, or if they're fine, shake it off and keep playing.
Yeah.
And little things like that. And like I sent the kids and we went for ice cream after school a couple days ago, and I waited at the back of the place and I gave them my card and I had them order the ice creams and pay for it. And like I was watching, but I was like kind of in a different room. I wanted to see how they do.
Yeah.
And that was kind of thrilling. Like, because I feel like I was doing that when I was their age. Like I was going into the dollar store by myself and stuff. At least Lucy's age in grade 1. So that kind of felt fun. I felt like I was being like kind of badass, even though that's so not badass. But
I love that. I think fostering independence is such an important part of parenting. It's something that like the type of parenting that I do or portray is that like I want my kids to learn to be functioning human beings and to learn that like sometimes you're going to fail, sometimes things aren't going to work out right. Like that's okay. But the fact that you let them like fully order and pay by themselves is so cool. And they probably feel so much pride being like, I did this by myself. That's so cool. Like that also helps them become confident human beings.
I hope so. And I think so. Like that worked for me. I know my parents had my parents, I find actually the older they get, the more like nervous they get with kid stuff.
Aww.
Like my mom is so scared if the kids are doing anything like remotely, not dangerous, but like where they could possibly scrape a knee. Yeah. She's like on edge and it like ruins her time because she can't not focus on it. Yeah. But when I was young, they weren't like that. Like it was outside until the street lights were on. That kind of thing. It is. It's weird to get old. You change so much. And
and I wonder if being a like I'm not, obviously I wouldn't know, but like I wonder if being a grandparent becomes like this different, because my mom like is way different with my kids than she was with me.
How so? Like in what way?
She is very nervous, anxious. Like I wonder because it's not her kids. Like maybe if she's like, oh, I wonder if Ariana would do it this way or something. I don't know. But I'm often like, yo, chill. Like they're fine. Like we let them do this. It's okay. I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about adult friendships because you also posted recently about this. And this is something I think about a lot because it's like, it's weird. It's weird because I'm watching my children who are 2 and 4 create their own relationships and friendships and community. Like there are people in their lives that are very meaningful that I barely know.
Mhm.
Like I drop them at school, they see their friends, and these are like their people that they're spending every day with. And I'm so
Yeah.
intrigued at like the way that relationships form, how much these people mean to my kids. Like we went to the strawberry patch yesterday and picked some strawberries. Callie has like a little best friend in her class named Jaden,
Oh.
and school's over now. So she's not seeing him every day anymore. And we're at the strawberry field. She's looking around. She notices there's other people there and she goes, Mommy, is Jaden here? And I'm like,
Aw.
oh my God. Like, no, I don't think so. And she's like, maybe he'll be here next week. I'm like,
Oh.
oh my gosh, she is craving connection with her relationships that she has formed at
Mhm.
2. So it's pretty like impactful. I think friendships and relationships are obviously so very important.
Yeah.
But when you become an adult, they're very hard to make friendships and to maintain friendships. And in your post, you talked about how resilient adult friendships can be. And I thought that
Mhm.
word and the correlation between like resiliency and a friendship and how busy life can get and how that can still
Yeah.
stay true is so cool. I just loved that. And I think that's such a good sign of a good friendship. So share with us a little bit about what inspired this post and how you feel about adult friendships.
Totally. Yeah. What inspired this post was our night last weekend, honestly. And I was thinking about it because I was like, you know what? I have new friends here, like you and your sister Micah were there hanging. My parents, who in some ways my oldest friends,
Yeah,
they were hanging. Shane, and then all of my school friends. So Tamara, who you met, we've been friends since we were 4 years old. We went to junior
crazy.
kindergarten together. So, and the other two girls actually that I was best friends with in junior kindergarten. They were not there, but I am still very close with them as well.
Amazing.
And then the other girls that you met, Jill and Tamara, we became best friends in grade 9 when we started high school together. So it's like we had so long to foster these friendships growing up. And especially with Tamara, because I've just known her so long. There's been ups and downs and times where we didn't hang out all the time and maybe
Mhm.
had other best friends like in high school. But as adults, because they're good friendships, there is so much resilience. And it's like, I don't even know. It's like, I don't even think Jill has, that was her first time, I think, meeting Betty. Like, I don't even know if Tamara's met Betty. Like,
Aw.
and these are like who I consider my best friends and
Yeah.
my children. And there's like that weird disconnect. And some people might say, oh, well, that means they're not your best friends or you must not be that close. And it's like, I'm not close with that many people. And we're all kind of in the same boat. Like, I think that when there is understanding of how busy each other's lives are, I think when we have empathy for how we all live life, and there, if we just have love for each other,
Mhm.
and it's kind of like an unconditional love. Like I could never hang out with them again, but always have just so much love and respect for them and for how they're living and things like that.
Mhm.
And that just creates this amazing resilience. And you don't get it with every friendship. Like I did not get that in university. I met very few friends in my 20s who I made actual like good connections with
Yeah,
because it's hard and it's awkward.
very.
Um, but it's like, it's so awesome now because I feel like I'm meeting people like my new friends. I look at you, I look at Renee, I look at other people in the space, and I've made some really wonderful friends.
Mhm.
And it like, I don't know, I loved the worlds colliding of like my new
Yeah.
friends and my old friends. And it just really made me have more respect for friendships. Cause like I see a lot online about like, girls hanging out and everything and like doing all these things in big groups of friends. I'm like, oh fuck, like I can count my friends on my close friends who I'd like tell major problems to less than one hand.
Yeah.
Um, and like my friends that I'd call up to hang out if I was going out, I don't know, maybe on two hands, but
Yeah.
it's hard. So I find myself sometimes seeing these posts on social media and being like, oh shit, I can't relate at all to that. Like I don't have a bus full of friends that I can bring with me somewhere. Like I'm embarrassed to, have these people come over to a birth. Like I don't want to invite them to celebrate me or something like that because it's just like, I'm nervous. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. But yeah, I have a lot of respect for the friendships that I've made now. And I just think it's important to remember as an adult that it's not the quantity, obviously. It
Yeah.
is very, very much so the quality of the friendships.
Yeah.
And my best quality friendships are the ones that are resilient.
Yeah. I love that so much. And I think it's very true that as you get older, you have less time to invest in relationships
Yes.
because your life is full. You have other things to take care of, like children, your home, jobs, careers, your romantic relationship. Like there are so
Mm-hmm.
many other things that sometimes take priority, and there's nothing wrong with that. And so I think with the limited time that you do have to invest in friendships, you want those friendships to be meaningful and you want
Yes.
them to feel good. You don't want to feel like you're like, oh, sorry, I haven't seen you in 2 months. Like you just want to be excited to
Yes.
see each other, you know?
And also, like, I don't want to feel like I'm trying to be somebody else in a friendship. And that's taken me a long time to come to terms with because in high school, I mean, we're all trying to freaking please somebody else or fit in or whatever. High school is just awful and it's awkward, right? That's its own thing.
Yes.
University was the same for me. Like, I went to
Yeah.
Western. The girls that I was kind of friends with were too rich for me. So, like, when they offered me to live with them, I couldn't afford like the
Oh,
fancy digs that
yeah.
they were going to live at. So I was like, ooh, I need to find something like slightly more affordable. Um, and then I ended up being friends with nice enough girls, but like I was still kind of always trying to be on their level.
Yeah.
I wasn't like living for myself. And
Mhm.
then that caused those friendships not to be the best because they weren't based in authenticity, right?
Yeah.
And I think that when you're finally able to like be content in a
Mhm.
friendship and feel secure, whether it's because it's resilient and the friend doesn't give a shit if you haven't seen them physically in a year
Or if you
and they're just
forgot to
happy to
text
see
back
you.
once, like who cares?
Yes. Yes. And I think there's so much security in that. And it's like, I feel content in friendships when I can just be myself.
Mhm.
Um, and just not feel like I have to try. And it's taken me to my 30s to finally have like a small, awesome group of friends who I don't feel like I have to impress. You know what I mean?
Totally. Like it shouldn't be work to
Yes,
have
it's the
a
worst.
relationship, you know?
That makes me not want to go out with people. And it's like I
Yeah.
say no to so many things and I don't do a lot. And Shane doesn't do a lot. And it's like number one, family. Number two, I mean, keeping our family well fed, roof over our heads, like work stuff. So I say yes to work stuff a lot, which is how you and I ended up
Yeah.
getting close, right? It's like, and I wasn't going initially trying to make friends. I was like, oh, I'm going to go and I'll meet people and I'll have fun.
Yeah.
But then I ended up meeting great people through
Yeah.
it and like making actual friends that have things in common. We have similar hobbies. We like to work in the same way. And that's like
Mhm.
awesome. Um, but yeah, I enjoy saying no. I don't
Yeah.
get FOMO anymore.
Yeah.
And it's nice because then when I do go out, people are cool and it's just content.
Yeah, and it makes it so much more worth it then. Like,
Yes.
those nights are
Yes.
so much more impactful or those times or
Yes.
days or whatever. I
Oh
definitely
my God.
agree with
I'd
that.
rather save my money up for those times than
Yes.
just like a crappy time going out with people who I'm like just sitting there with thinking, oh, I can't wait to get home, you
Like,
know?
"Oh, I have to be here." Yeah. When I
Yeah.
think about relationships, I often have related it back to values and how
Mhm.
if you value similar things as another person, like, you will feel more connected, and then
Totally.
those relationships will just in turn be more resilient because you both kind of feel the same way or believe in the same kind of
Mhm.
morals or whatever. And I find with kids, it becomes hard because maybe your relationships before children, like I found my
Mhm.
relationships before kids were based off of like social, like, oh, we're going to drink
Completely.
on this night, like brunch on the next day. Like it was more out of convenience than out of actual
Mhm.
like meaning. And now that I have less time, my friendships are more based on like meaningful connections versus convenience.
Totally, totally. And I'm curious, like, what age of your life, like, do you still hang out with the people that you met early in life, or have your friendships kind of like evolved over time?
They've definitely evolved over time. And I think it's hard because like experiencing like a friendship breakup is like a weird weird thing because sometimes these friends
Yeah,
are like more meaningful to you even than like any other relationships in your life. Like you might spend more time, especially in my early 20s, like I was spending more time with my friends than I would with like my boyfriend or whatever.
totally. Yeah.
So sometimes it's like a natural progression, I think, where you just kind of drift apart. Other times it could be like a blow up, who
Hmm.
knows? Um, but it is weird to have people who are so impactful in your life at one time to now not be. But I think that it comes back to values. Like it's hard. We had kids before many of our friends. And so
Hmm.
we also had kids during the pandemic. And that like added a whole other layer that people had a really hard time understanding. Um, and caused friendships to drift apart for sure
Hmm.
because you're just on different pages. Like I was very strict with sleep and it's something that I am very proud of because my kids are great sleepers and I will never regret. But we definitely lost friendships because we
Yeah.
couldn't make social events or we had to leave early or we had to say no to things. And someone who's not in that situation maybe doesn't understand that and it's nobody's fault, but I just think when your lives or values are not like
Hmm.
on the same wavelength, it's really hard to maintain relationships.
Yeah, and it is kind of bullshit that somebody would drift away. You know what I mean? Especially if it's like a permanent drifting. Because, like, yes, I experienced that, like people drifting away kind of permanently after I had kids. But
Yeah.
then, like the girls you met last weekend, and the majority of my friends, there was an understanding of, okay, Alex, because I was the first person of my group of friends also to have kids. But there was an understanding of, okay, Alex is going through this right now, but we're going to go through this eventually. So it's like, we didn't hang out. We were still in chat groups. We still kept in touch, like most days, you know.
Yeah.
And but I don't think there was ever any like resentment for me not coming out. And like I told him, I was like, invite me to everything still. I'm gonna say no every single time. I'm gonna say no to 100% of the things, but invite me because I just want to feel cared about.
Yeah.
And they
Feel
were
like you
like,
have the
fuck
choice.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And then I did that for them. And we all did that kind of for each other. And it was like,
Yeah.
it was fine. And now none of us do anything ever. And we all see each other only once a year. And it's fine. And we all love it. And it's that resilience, right? Like it's
Totally.
important.
Yeah. Are there certain like characteristics or qualities in friendships that you value more now than you did maybe in your 20s?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, I think empathy because it's so hard. Like you go through so much shit when you're an adult. And when you have kids and you're a parent and you're married and you're going through, you know, relationship challenges or whatever.
Yeah.
So to have a friend who can actually be empathetic and not just like listening to you so that they can say their piece, but
Hmm.
to like actually listen to you and like help ease your burden, even if it's just letting you talk. I
Totally.
think, yeah, I think that that is so important.
Yeah.
And I never really considered that as a friendship quality before.
Mm.
I'd say kind maybe before, but like, of course, you want somebody to be kind. Nobody wants to be friends with an asshole,
Yeah.
although
Like
we
that
all
should be
have
the bare
been.
minimum. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think empathetic, and there's got to be a level of humor. Like, I don't need my friends to be funny people. Like, they don't need to be cracking jokes like freaking Jerry Seinfeld, but they need to have humor because if somebody takes themselves too seriously, I have a hard time with that. Or if somebody's taking me too seriously, like,
Hmm.
I don't take myself seriously. And I'm also a big fucking idiot. Like, I'm the biggest idiot, Ariana, and I do stupid things all the time and unintentionally, even unintentionally, I don't know, but big idiot, even me speaking right now. So it's like, I hope people don't take me so seriously. There are times to be taken seriously, but I don't live my life with like self importance. Um, so I hope people don't think I do, and I don't want them to think that of me, and I don't want to be friends with somebody who is very self-important because
Yeah.
then I feel like I can't joke with them and I can't rib them or whatever. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. I like there to be an air of lightness, if that makes sense.
I totally agree with that. Someone you can just have fun with and not think too much. Like I think it goes back to
Mm,
not having to try too hard. Like I shouldn't have to
yes,
try in a friendship or a relationship in any sense, I don't think. You know?
100%. What do you
Yeah.
think? What do you think are the most important qualities you
Empathy
look
is
for?
huge for me, like just
Mm,
understanding where someone's coming from. I've realized recently that I really appreciate honesty in a friendship. So
Mm-hmm.
like if I'm going to somebody for advice or I'm struggling with something, I want them to tell me straight. Like I don't want you to just
Yeah.
immediately take my side or agree with what I'm saying. I think the sign of a true friend is actually being like, hold on, like I don't think that you're right here. Here's
Mm-hmm.
why. And maybe like this is what you should do about it or what you could do about it. And sometimes in the moment, it feels like, oh my God, like this person doesn't like me. What a shitty friend. I can't believe they're not agreeing with me. And then when I reflect, I'm like, holy shit, like that was really nice of her to actually like tell me how
Because
she
awkward.
feels. Yes.
And they're doing it because they care about you and they want you to have the best outcome.
Yes. And she's not having to try to
Mm-hmm.
be who I want her to be. Like she's actually just being
100%.
who she is, as she should be. So I think I
100%.
appreciate honesty in a friendship at this point of my life.
Um, I think it's so important. I think honesty is so important. And it was funny. So like last weekend when we were all out, right? Shane ran into somebody at the after party, and she got on Shane for like not going to her husband's bachelor party.
Oh,
But Shane doesn't know this person very well anyway. And he was like, hey, like, I don't have enough money to go. Like, it was a big thing.
yeah.
And he's keeping it light and not, you know what I mean? But like, also, yeah, like, don't go on a big, stupid bachelor party. Like, I'd rather go on a family vacation or whatever.
Yes.
And then she looked at Shane and she goes, well, maybe you should make more money.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe she was joking. I don't know. But honestly, I was thinking about that. And like, when I talk about empathy and think about empathy, you can't say something like that to a person with kids, like an adult with kids, because you honestly don't know their situation. Like, we just bought a new house. We are house poor right now. But it's like you don't know what people are going through, and you don't know what their financial life is like, what other factors might be impacting their
Yeah.
decision. So to say something like that, I just feel it is very not empathetic.
Not
So
and not empathetic and also not kind, like the bare minimum here
no,
that we were talking about too,
no.
like not kind at all. And I always think like we don't know what other people are going through. Like we don't know
Mm-hmm.
what their situation is. We don't know what's happening. And so who are we to judge? Like why can't we just say like, okay,
Huge.
Shane couldn't make it. Like maybe he'll come to the next one. Who knows? Like why are we so hurt by someone's decision that's not really actually impacting us?
Because those friendships are not resilient, and they know that, because
Yes.
they know that they need you to like physically show up, and that it is a very conditional affection, and that's why.
Exactly. I just said to Renee today, actually, like your presence does not equal the amount that you care.
Yes, I that's a really good way of putting it. I
Yeah.
like
Like
that.
you don't have to physically be somewhere to prove that you care about something or someone.
Yes,
So,
100%.
but some people put that pressure on, like, oh, he must not care about that person getting married because he didn't show up to the bachelor party. Like, no, there could be 100 reasons why he didn't. That doesn't mean he doesn't care
Mm-hmm.
about this person. And so I think we need to yeah, just mind our own business more and not care so much about other people's decisions.
Totally agree. That's what I like doing. Like right now, like Shane and I feel like you're living similarly, actually, Ariana. Like we're putting our health first. We're
Yes.
like focusing on working out. We're focusing on eating healthfully, getting good sleeps, doing stuff as a family, and just kind of like staying in our own lane.
Yeah.
And then when we do go out and do things, it's so much freaking fun because it
Yeah.
feels like it's not, I don't know, there's something special about it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean we care about anybody any less at all. It just means we're prioritizing our well-being right now.
Yeah. And the things
And
that
that's
matter to you
important.
and the things that you value.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's actually beautiful. And friends
Thank
that
you.
care would be very proud of you.
I'd hope so. I'd hope so.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Alex, to end, I usually do some rapid fire questions. Is that okay with you?
I thought you were going to say rap, and I was just so excited.
I usually just rap for my friends. Imagine
I was going to be really.
out.
Oh, I was ready to be so impressed, Ariana. I was ready to hear some beats.
I'm going to work on a rap for you next time I see you.
Please, please.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
I'm ready for rapid fire.
Yes. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Dream travel destination?
Probably like a castle. If I could stay in a castle
Yeah.
in the south of France.
Maybe that will be part of your 10-year anniversary.
I'm trying to make it happen.
Sounds perfect. Dream partnership for this family tree?
Oh, probably Dyson. I use my
Sick.
Dyson every single day. I'm
You
obsessed.
do.
Oh, yeah, Dyson and like Nintendo. We also play Nintendo every single day. I'm obsessed with Zelda. So yes, that.
Amazing. Favorite ice cream flavor?
Vanilla. French vanilla though,
Ooh.
like with you need
Like
to have vanilla
real
bean.
vanilla. Yeah.
Mhm.
And favorite TV show?
Well, right now, Below Deck, hands down. That's
Best.
we
Yes.
watch Below Deck Sailing Yacht every night before bed. We fall asleep to it, and it's the best. But I will say, I saw for Sirens recently. That was amazing. If you haven't seen that,
I've never watched. Adding it to my list.
it's so good. 6 episodes and it's done. It is so fun. It's a good show.
Okay, I'm gonna watch. Thank you for joining me, Alex. Where can people find you and connect with you?
You guys can find me at This Family Tree on Instagram and TikTok. And This Family Tree podcast that maybe will come back. I don't know. It is fun, Ariana. This is making me feel good again. But honestly, thank you so much for having me. I feel like this was a nice debrief from Saturday kind of. But yeah, this has been a blast. Thank you so much.
Thanks for sharing with us. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Your Cup of Joy. I hope you enjoyed today's conversation as much as I did. And if this episode resonated with you, or if you've been loving this show, I'd really appreciate it if you could take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you are listening. Your support helps the podcast grow, it helps it reach more people, and it means the absolute world to me. So keep filling your cup with joy, and I will see you next week.